Hello and welcome to another episode of Searching for Truth. It's been 6 months since I started this podcast, and it's been a real journey of awakening to truth. Talking to Ellevi about the corruption within the family court system, talking to Donna Solomon on fostering, also mentioned the family court system. Then more recently talking to Sammy Brown about satanic ritual abuse. All of these have opened my eyes wider than they've ever been opened before. But this podcast is different. In this podcast, I'm sharing what this journey has really awoken me to. This darkness, the corruption, satanic ritual abuse, paedophilia, everything that's going on at the moment during lockdown with our governments here and all over the world, it's shown me the darkness. And what that has done is literally woken me up to the light. I didn't believe Satan was real. And sadly, I'll admit, I don't think I believed God was real either. But this awakening, I believe in God. And this is what this podcast is about. In this podcast, I'm talking to my dear friend and selfless warrior of a soul, Angela Sheridan Hunt. I've known her for 4 or 5 years now, and she's been out in the community here in Birmingham helping the homeless like you wouldn't believe, and many more selfless acts over the years. I'm talking to Angela about this most recent awakening from darkness to light. Literally knowing this darkness exists has shown me the light, the power of good, the power of God. It's like a flame has been lit inside of me. And whilst it's still just a small flame, it feels so powerful. Now, Angela's been on her journey a little longer than me, but boy, I feel her flame. I feel the energy, and I get inspired when we talk. So my hope, my aim is that this podcast with Angela will reach out to you, hopefully awaken you as well, if not already, and inspire you. Whatever your beliefs, our aim is to spread peace, love, and to shed light amongst the darkness that we're all feeling on one level or another. Now, we do cover a lot in this podcast. We talk a lot about frequencies, the power of words, negative emotions, anger. We talk about angels. We talk about astrology and so much more. For that reason, this podcast has been cut into 2 parts, and this is the introduction to part 1. I hope you enjoy my chat with Angela, all about searching for truth and discovering faith.
God-given.
Yeah. Okay. And we are recording now.
Okay. So can I start with a little prayer, because I feel we need some guidance in this. Okay. Father God, call on you today as I prayed to you not long ago, and please ask you that again, that you please guide and direct my words today in this talk with my sister Donna, as we talk about things that matter. But in all things, please, in all the talking that comes through, let it be your will, your words, to bring people to you, to bring them to directed into your path, and for the path of righteousness and the path of goodness that leads ultimately to you, and your ever-loving protection that's always around us, and the love that we feel from you every day. We pray that within this space we speak freely, openly, and please let your will and your righteousness guide our words and guide our hearts. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Success.
I opened my eyes then, and I just looked at you, and I was like, oh, yeah. I remember when you did that, Ange, when we were out in Birmingham the other day, and I really felt it then, and then.
You know, the madness is, I mean, I've prayed with a few people now, like Sharon, and I had Vicar pray the other day, and a couple of other people who pray, and when they pray, their prayers are so reverent and so beautiful, and the words that they use, and the, the Father God and the Lord God and everything else. And sometimes that feels a bit disingenuous to me, because when I talk to God, I'm like, hi God, it's me again, hello. And he accepts me in my natural state, and I don't want to be all God, I love you, oh God, because that's not me, that's not my connection with him. So sometimes my prayers sometimes they don't feel prairie enough. But everybody I've spoken to is like, just speak from your heart. So I fumble my words a little bit, but when I speak to him, God knows what's in my heart. So I hope that the power's in the words, not just in or in the emotion, not just in the words, rather. Do you know what I mean? So I'm working on trying to have that impactful prayer, so that when I pray with others, they feel it as well. It's not just to go. I want people to feel that awe, that love, that respect, that reverence that we should have for our Lord, because that's right there. I can't even put that into a word, so I'll just do the choppy sign. That's what we need. That God knows, and he knows our hearts. So the word is just the backup to that, but he knows it before we said it anyway. But it's good to have that connect and that feel. So if you felt that, then winner. Yeah. I like it, man.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
And Angela, I'm very grateful to you, actually, in many ways, for many things and in many ways, but more recently, because you, obviously we're very close. I do think of you as my sister. And
you know me again.
This journey with God has been fairly recent, really. Not recent. I mean, I'm not trying to say I know everything, but certainly from what I've been hearing from you, it seems quite recent, and I feel really blessed to have you here as a friend anyway, but especially now, because a lot of what we're going to talk about, well, certainly what I want to share, is my awakening to God, certainly over the last few months. And I've said to you, and I'll say on here, it's really become alive for me, because the darkness has been shown. And I was like, wow, the darkness is real. It really is real. I've seen it. I'm seeing it. So that's what's woke me to the light and God being real. And to have you, Angela, such a special friend there, like also on this journey, and have been for some time, to be able to have this call with, this conversation with, and all the calls that we've been having recently with you've recently sent me the link to the Audible, the Bible, and I've been listening to Genesis on there. I've been relaying some of it to what I've been learning through Eric. I mean, so to Eric from this, learning for the first time. I'm in my 40s. I used to go to Sunday school. I used to go to church. But I think in my heart, and if I'm honest with you and everyone else that may or may listen to this or watch this, I don't think I really believed it. I think I thought, like I believe many people do, or we're conditioned to believe, it's not really real. It's a bit of a fantasy.
It's
a bit of a myth.
It's a nice little story to tell the kids before they go to bed. Mate, this is real. Hand on the Bible, it is real. You've just said it. You've just said it in your 40s. It's never too, just the Kylie song came into my head then. It's never too late. We've still got time. Excuse the voice, girl. I used to be able to sing. But it's never too late to find him. He's waiting. He's waiting for us to go, oh, there he is. Oh, all right. I didn't realise you were over there. He's waiting for that minute. And you could be 7, you could be 17, you could be 27, you'd be 77. When you go, here he is. Let's go and have a little look over here, because I've heard about you, God. and now I'm meeting you. And it is a meeting. It is meeting God, not physically like you and I get together and have a cuppa and that, but it's meeting. It's like that introduction. I heard a gentleman say it on a I can't even remember. I watch that much stuff. It kind of gets blended where it's come from. But he said it's like we've had the introduction to Christ this whole time, but now it's like, oh, it's nice to meet you. It's not, and it is that feeling of, wow, it's real. It is. It's like, and to know it's just not a story, and it's a good. Don't get me wrong, the Bible's it's a top read, but to know that this impacts life. This is the guidebook for living in this place that we're in. And we've spent so long looking elsewhere that we've been told, as we were just talking about not long ago, God's been taken out of everything, and that's no exaggeration. He's been taken out of everything that we live in this life. So the fact that we're now rediscovering, you and I, doesn't matter how far along the journey we are, the fact that we're in the car and we're on the move is beautiful, because we're like, oh, it's not a story anymore. God is real. This is the truth. Is just
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing, Bub.
And I like the way you put that, like, oh, it's not just a story, because that's a really good way of putting it for me, and how I believe it was for me, like a story that actually wasn't really real. You know, like you read Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, well, you kind of know it's not real. So the Bible, and I think, and Eric said, so my husband said something last night, he said, well, the way, because I was explaining how the Audible that I've been listening to since you sent the link to me, I was like, well, this is real. It actually makes sense. Whereas the Bible that I've got and I read, I can't make sense of that. And, you know, and I'm wondering whether these things are deliberate. And also something that, you know, I said something to you. I said, oh, what was it I said? It was a blaspheme. I was like,
oh, God damn it.
Oh, God damn it. Why are we conditioned to say that? It's almost as if the darkness, because the darkness, if I'm absolutely honest with everything that's going on at the moment, it is the darkness that I have seen, like, wow.
Yep.
This is almost, I feel like it's been really in control of ensuring that not only do we forget about God and think God is a fairy tale and a myth, but actually we will use language that is putting out there, like, God damn it. What does that actually mean? What am I saying when I say, because I said to you afterwards, why do I say that? Why do we all, you know?
Listen to what it is. The word, God damn it. God damn it. Damn it. Damn
Yeah,
it.
as in damn it, damn it, damn it. Yeah.
It's a negative. And so we're talking about how words, you know, all right, so words are important to me. And the terminology, the things that we say, the things that we use every day, words have a powerful effect. If you tell someone to get lost, that's powerful, because it's just a word. There's something in the Bible, I should have looked at it before. There is something in there that says our words hold like a power. So guard your words. It's something Jesus said. As I say, I'm very new on my journey, so I'm still picking it and learning it and stuff. But it's about guarding your words, because your words have a powerful effect. And the thing that I heard the other night in one of my groups was that if you say, well, God said, what you're doing is putting the whole power of heaven behind those words. That's what you're putting behind those words. If I say, Donna said, I'm putting you into that word. I'm putting you into what was said. Donna said, get lost. Instantly, that's putting the person against you, because Donna said. So if you're going to use words, you have to be very careful in what you say. It's like the way we talk to children. I used to think it was perfectly acceptable to swear in front of my children, in front of my grandchildren, godchildren. When I say my children, I mean any child who's connected to me. Be it, you know, oh bloody hell, or something, or oh you little fucker. I'm really trying hard not to swear, but we're talking about past now. But it's not, because the power of the word into their mind, and I'm only thinking about this now because it's something I did the other day. Like, I'll get the kids, hey little bugger, come here. Even the word is, the words are powerful. So when we're putting what we say into action, it has to match to be congruent. It has to match, and it has to be powerful. So when we're saying God damn it, we literally, God damn it, do you know what I mean? Like bringing him into that. Well, God don't want to be in that, so mark your words. Do you know what I mean? You just said a really interesting thing, that as you were saying it, about reading Genesis or listening to Genesis at the beginning, I'll find the bit here because I've got my trusty Bible for hands now. At the beginning, and it says, I've got to find it here. It's the bit where basically God's walking around. This is what astounds me, and it's very quick because you mentioned Disney. So I'm thinking on the fly here, so just go with me for a minute. You just said the story, like I said, the story. It's a very lovely story about the Bible. It's a very, very interesting story. Okay, keep that in mind, because then you've got things like Disney stories that people believe. Kids grow up thinking that all women scrub floors, are going to marry a princess, are going to lose a shoe at midnight, and that's very easy to believe because Disney have very good marketing. What God needs is better marketing. And that's why we're here. We are God's PR team. We are on God's team. I'm out there pushing, you know, heard about God. I know you've heard about Diet Coke, but you heard about Jesus. That's where we need to be now, because we need to be God's PR team down here on earth, telling people, okay, so you believe Mulan, which I haven't seen, by the way, full disclosure, I've never seen that Disney film, but you'll believe Cinderella, that bird scrubbing floors, and then a mouse turns into a coach, and you'll believe that, but you won't believe that once upon a time, the Creator made everything and made this beautiful paradise for us and went, hello, lovely people who I love and adore very much. Have this beautiful world all for you. Look at what you won. And then not only that, what blows my mind is that, I wish I'd found it before we started talking, because I don't really want to, God, it says here, and like one day, I've got to find it, bear with me. And he heard the sound of he heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. I'm going to say that again. And they heard the sound. This is speaking about Adam and Eve. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. God not only gave us this beautiful place, there you go, free of charge, rent free, crack on, eat all you want, not off that tree, but eat what you want, have what you want, live this beautiful, perfect life, but also, hi Adam, hi Eve, are you all right? He was with them. He was, hi God. do you know what I mean? God was with them. God not only got the love in him, not only decided to, I'm going to make you in my image, I'm going to give you this beautiful place, I'm going to give you everything you want, you're not going to have to scrimp and scrape and to have all the things that you need to sustain the beautiful body that I've given you, but I'm going to pop round for a cuppa as well because I'm with you. God wants to be with us, and he was with them. And because of the evil that came in, we lost God.
Well, let's just talk about that a minute, because you mentioned the fairy tale movies, the Disney, and I don't want to touch too much on the evil dark side, but I think it's becoming more quite common knowledge that Disney was very much run by the CIA. The CIA have got, obviously not everything's come out in the open yet, but it's looking like. So if Disney had the these films had that PR, then we're talking, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because that is, in my mind, and I think maybe we might learn more about this as time goes on, most definitely the dark side. Most definitely the dark side. So all these films and fantasies have all been like, shown to children, and here you are, there you go, it's all out there. But you're absolutely right. There's been no real promotion. And in fact, it's been the opposite. We're actually being conditioned to say things like, God damn it, and oh God, like almost like, when things go wrong. It's when things go wrong. Why are we saying, oh God, when things go wrong? But I mean, two things I want to touch on. When I was speaking to you and I said it, I don't feel bad now, because I am catching myself afterwards. And I know that I don't mean that. So I'm able to almost, but it's a vibration. I think what you were saying before, words can carry a vibration, a power. And if you're not using that with the right intent, then that is going out there. You're putting it out there. And so what are we doing with that? Putting it out there.
It's only what we're putting out, but where we're putting it out to. We're living in a time now, and it goes to, it's a very clever game that's been set up from the beginning, this system that we're in. It's very clever, because it didn't just happen overnight like that. It's come slowly, chip away, chip away, chip away, chip away. There you go. We're conditioned to be victims. We're conditioned to be, oh, I'm offended because you called me a name. And what? And what? And what? We've all done it. We've all, I had a few bullies when I was a kid, got dealt with. I'm sure you've had a few turn-ups in your time.
A few, yeah.
We've all had it. But you know what? I'm 46, nearly 47, if God gives me another few months. If you're however old, we're still alive. You got called a name. You might have got called a little blackie, or you might have got called a little fatty, or you might have got called a little something, or, oh, your parents are not together, and all that nonsense. Sorry, because I'm really trying hard not to, I'm trying to stay on the right side, so I'm watching my language. But we got through it, Bab. We got through it. I've had a few black eyes in my time. I've had a few, luckily nothing more severe in my life. I've got to give thanks for that. But I'm still here. I'm still here, because sticks and stones. Do you know what I mean? But now what we've got is a nation of, I'm going to say it, pussies. Because, you don't like my pink scarf. You touched me. Oh, mate, grow a pair and sort your life out, right? I've written it down here as you were talking. Personal responsibility. You just said we blame God. That's part of the game. That was part of the thing. If something goes wrong, blame God. If something goes wrong, blame the government. If something goes wrong, blame your neighbour. If something goes wrong, blame anybody but you, but yourself. When what we need to do, in the words of Michael Jackson, who's just popped into my head, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Put your face in the mirror and go, what can I do to make things better? What can I do to make the world a bit of a better place? We said when we were going to do this talk that we weren't going to touch on the thing that can't be named, and the stuff like that, which I have no thought in. I thought it was a good idea for a while, and I did kind of buy into it because of the lockdown. I had nothing better to do. But ultimately, I think the reason that I was shown those things, I think the reasons God's shown me these things And it is God that showed me these things. I think he's shown me because he wants me to see, no, Ange, that's not the way, Bab. That's not the way. Do me a favour, tell other people that's not the way either. Now, I'm not here to speak for God. I'm here to speak God's words out, just like a little conduit. I'm not saying I'm in the garden and he's telling me, Ange, go and say that. I'm just saying I'm looking into what has been said and translating that to what's happening now. And what's happening now, what I see is the game has been so rigged, so condensed to this. Everybody else is at fault. It's not you. Blame Jesus. Blame anyone but yourself. When what we should be doing, like I say, is I think I better take a bit of responsibility here. I think I need to figure out what I'm doing. How can I be a better person? How can I affect change in a positive way? How can I bring things together instead of, I'm so angry about everything. Oh, Donald Trump didn't save the world as we thought he was going. No, because he's a man. Because he's a bloke.
I do think that this, yeah, I hear what you say word for word, and I do think that the way that things, you know me, Ange, I will always try and see the positive, right? I can get down sometimes, but I've always been quite good at picking myself back up, and I can say this out loud because of my own experience. But the darker things, I believe this is all gonna backfire beautifully for God, really, because the darker it is, the darker it's been, and it's been really dark when you sort of open your eyes to the darkness, the more the light will shine brighter, because all of this is like, really, for me personally, it's like, oh my gosh. I catch myself now saying gosh.
I was waiting.
But that would have been, oh my God, in a good way, because I'm talking, oh my God, thank you. You could look at oh my God in a thankful way, I guess, or it could be oh my God, it depends what your intention is behind. Yeah,
always the intent.
Yeah, always. But for me, and it can't just be me, the more this darkness is being shown, and the more obvious that it is that it's been going on for so long, and that actually it's been part of our conditioning, no wonder, because it was also our parents and our grandparents. I think the more people are going to be able to really step in and see this light, this, what God really is, and everything that you're saying there is for real. It's not just a story, it's for real, and it's always been there. You said something earlier about, when we started talking about, it doesn't matter whether you've spent the last 40 years not being aware. And I said to you when we spoke earlier as well, like on the phone, time is a man-made thing that we have here. So take time away from it, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're just waiting, because what you were saying, we'll be conditioned to go, oh God, beat yourself up for taking so long, being all negative. It's like we're conditioned to be negative and beat ourselves up and to beat this up. It's just crazy.
Negativity is the enemy. Negativity, pessimism, depression, anxiety, frustration, anger. These are all the other side. When we nothing. I heard this in a thing I read years ago. How do you make God laugh? You make a plan, right? Because who has the ultimate plan? I'll say to you, Don, right, I'm going to wash up, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come and meet you, and then we're going to have a coffee. And we're like, yeah, that's the plan. And God goes, that's not quite what I had in store for you today, Bab. Because how many plans go awry? Because we have our plan, but God has his plan for us. So sometimes that's it. Now, what makes the devil more angry than anything is when we say, I love you, God. God, you are my all. God, you are my everything. In you, I place my trust. In you, I place my faith. I love you. And the other side's like,
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that. Oh, that's one less soul on my side. Good, good. Because that's what we need. We need people, like you said, to wake up and use our inner power to get to him. It says here, this is Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct your paths. It doesn't say trust in the British government with all your heart and lean on Boris's understanding. Doesn't say that. It says trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. God has the answer for everything. God, should I paint my toenails red? That's kind of something he's going to leave to you. He's going to be like, you don't really need to come to me with that one. That's a choice you can make on your own. But remember, he gave us free will. He gave us free will for a reason. He doesn't want us to be robots. But at the same time, when we have a worry, a problem, something that we can't get through, like the situation that we're in now, Miss Donna, the situation that we're in now, all the confusion, all the depression, the anxiety, all of the things that we've discussed for months now, well, years now, as long as we've known each other, but more recently in the last months, all of the things, the bad that's coming in, we could just stop worrying about all that today if we trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. You and I have spent how long going, what do you think's really happening with that then? Do you think, what if that is going to, do you think they do? But they said, but why are we looking to these other people over here and trying to work it out for ourselves and driving ourselves mad to the point where we're like, God, I feel really depressed now because the world's such a mess. God, everything's just really bad and we're all on lockdown and oh God. Why don't we just be like, God, please guide us through. Tell me what I have to do. Don't let me lean on my own understanding. Give me what it is that I should be doing right now. You tell me what it is for your will. Let it be done. And I will not rely on my own understanding because we are mere human beings. You know the saying, we're only human. It's right there, we're only human. If we had the power that the Almighty has, if we had that power and that thought, which is kind of where the other side went wrong, because he was like, I want to be like him. When I think of the devil now, I just think of him always sat there like this, like, Do you know what I mean? That's just the image that instantly comes into my head when I think of the other side. Because he must be so miffed that people are turning away from him and turning back to God as it was intended to be, because they're in all your ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct your path, because people are looking for something to follow. They've taken God out of this world. God didn't leave this world. I always thought that God left us. He didn't leave. We've been under the illusion that God doesn't love us. God doesn't love you. God doesn't love you. You know, when you're a child and someone, parents split up and the dad or the mum will say, your mum doesn't love you anymore, she's left you. Or your dad doesn't love you anymore, he's left you. That's how we've been brought up to think that God doesn't love us. And it's not true, Donna. It's not true.
It's only now that I think the true darkness, the extent of the darkness, is really starting to become apparent in people's realities. Like now we're in prison. We pretty much are prisoned here in the UK anyway. Can't go out, can't even shop on your own, and I mean together with someone else.
Yeah.
You can't meet friends, you can't hug, you can't even stand next to each other, let alone have a hug. You know, it's like we are. So what is that going to be doing, Ange, without going all dark and miserable? How much more are we going to appreciate the freedom, the freedom? It's like, I cannot wait.
But stop, people. This is, ironically, you taught me this, Bab, that the power is within. The power is within, right? I love the lady, Rose Green. I've been watching a bit of her stuff. I can't watch them all because, my God, some of them things are long, but I'll get the gist. And she doesn't put the muzzle on. And when she's asked, she's like, no, I'm not exempt. And then, well, you need to be putting one on. She's like, no, I don't. I'm a human being and choose not to. Bye-bye. And she goes about her shopping. And she's come into a lot of confrontations, and it's the power of one times all of us. Because you on you one, it's fear. I think it's fear. And again, if I have my Bible here, God didn't make us as spirits of fear. If God made us in, and I keep talking about God and praise God, and I'm going to talk about him all day, any chance I get, because God made us in his image, right? And this is what we were talking about earlier. When I look at you, I've got to look past your meat suit, right? I've got to look past this, all these eyes and whatever. I've got to see your soul. I've got to see your soul. God made us in his image so that when we looked at each other, we would see him, because it's love. We're supposed to see love. That's why fatism, sexism, racism, whatever ism you want, ism, schism you want to put on it, none of that should exist. Because when I look at you, you look at me, it's just like, hello, spirit, and go about our day. And hi, spirit. Imagine a place where all spirits are just bumping into each other like little, what are those things in the sea, like jellyfish? And they're just touching, and hi, and hi, and hi, and hello, and just lovely and just beautiful, because that's it. So he didn't, if we're like him, and God has no fear, I doubt God's scared of spiders. I doubt God's scared of going outside. You know, God's not scared of anything. There is nothing God is never surprised. So what's going to scare him? So if he's made us in his image, then we should have no fear. We should have no fear. We should stand there and say, I'm not putting the muzzle on, and you can't make me. Bye-bye. Simple. But because people are, what's my neighbour going to think? And, we care about what others think. We care about, I've got a spot, and, we care too much about what others think. If you free yourself of that thinking, of that whole, I wonder if Donna's going to like me if I don't like this, or what if she votes Labour and I vote Conservative, something that I never will. But what would happen if we disagree? What are people going to think of me? Who cares what people think of you? What's more important is that you live.
And I think it's because we've really lost touch with our spirit. We've almost, like, it's almost as if this, as you say, our meat skin, or whatever meat suit is.
I didn't make that. I didn't create that, boy. You know where that came from, by the way.
This is how we see ourselves. So it's almost like we've forgotten our spirit. And when we talk about, we get on with certain people, like you and I, we connected straight away. I remember the first phone call we had. You stalked me, Ange.
I found you. I was like, she will be my friend.
I'll never forget.
Positive thinking, Bob. I don't know this one, but we will be friends. We will. She will be my friend, and we will be friends forever. And then it happens.
our
Do you know what I
spirit
mean?
connected, and now I understand even more the whole and I've said it out loud a lot of times, you know, like, oh, we're not on the same frequency. Oh yeah, we are on the same frequency. Actually it is, and it's the same with what you're talking about with words that come out. It's all vibration, it's all frequency, because we are spirit in here, and that is what matters. We talked
Amen.
earlier on the phone about you know, people that would suddenly come into millions of pounds and buy all this material stuff. It's kind of the same thing in a way. Like, people will buy all this exterior stuff. People see themselves as an exterior skin, you know, the spot, and what people to think of their hair. And but again, I do that occasionally. You know, I worry about, oh, I can't go out like this, you know, because I'm
What will
conditioned.
people think? Because
Yeah,
what will people think? Well, it's the old saying. It's like all these old things that we used to years ago. Like, oh, what will the neighbours say? That was a thing. That was a really big thing. It was at the 40s, 50s or something. What will the neighbours say? You know, your daughter's got pregnant. Oh, what will the neighbours say? Not, I wonder how my daughter is,
yeah,
and is she going to be okay, and is the baby okay, and I still love this person. Not any of that first, maybe later, but not first. It was all, oh God, what are my neighbour? What they're going to say at church? Oh, do you know
yeah,
what I mean? It's like, who cares? Do you know what we should be saying? Is, what will God think? What will God? I'm gonna be a complete dick today. I wonder what God will think about that. Do you know what I mean? If we start, if before we did everything, every action, every thought, every deed that we did, if we stopped to think, would God like that? Would he be okay with that? If I go and slap my neighbour, do you think God would be okay with that? Do you think? No, he's probably not going to be okay with that. I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't do that thing I was going to do that's a bit naughty. Like, should I have that second line of Coke? Do you know what I mean? I wonder if he was probably okay with the first one, but I don't think he's going to like, no, he's not going to like any of it. So just don't do it. Just don't do it. Me and the evil weed. This is the only thing that is holding me at the moment. I've given up drink. I've given up sex. I've given up everything. I've given up there is literally nothing left except the evil weed. And it is an evil weed because it is killing me. And it's against God. So I don't have a choice. I have to get rid of it. I tried to stop the other day. I did about 12 hours and then went, oh, I really want to fast.
I'll just clarify. You're talking about nicotine, aren't you?
Yeah, cigarette
Yeah,
weed.
yeah,
I can prove it.
yeah. No, because because it is evil, but
honest,
actually weed I don't think is evil. I think nicotine is evil.
Well, I mean, to me, it's a different kind of thing. I've done a fair bit over the years, and especially in my youth, but I haven't done any drugs. I had 2 slips in my time, but I've been clear and free for 17 years now of cocaine and everything else. I had 1 slip which was pointless, and I had another one when I was on holiday, and I just felt so bad about it. I was just like, and the next morning, and I swore never to touch it again. But even that was like 10 years ago. So you can say I've had a good 11 years run of nothing on the narcotic side of things. I don't drink now. I've got vodka and Baileys here, and I've no interest at all, because I don't want anything to dull my mind. I don't want anything to dull. I've got to get this right, because I always get it wrong, and I always say it before I say it. We are not humans having a spiritual experience. We are spirits having a human experience. Got that right. Now, and I said to you just now, I suppose I better put it out there. I was washing up yesterday, and I got thinking about that, and I was washing up, so I'm doing my cups, and I'm like, soul, are you having a good time? Are you having a good experience? Are you all right? Like, cause I was just checking in, but then it got me thinking, okay, so is it Ange talking to the spirit, or is it the spirit talking to Ange? It was kind of like, who's talking to who kind of thing, because I now feel almost, I'm not schizophrenic, even though it does run in my family. I should just say it's not like I've split, but I'm very aware that there is something inside that is having a jolly old time. And as meat suit me, I want to make sure that I'm a good host, like the good host of the party. Have you got all you need? Do you need any more peanuts? You know, have you got enough? Have you got everything that you need? Because that's almost how it feels like, the host of this spirit, it's crying out for God. It's crying out for Jesus, crying out, stop stifling me with your bad, naughty behavior. And I almost feel scolded because I've been a bugger, you know, Don. We all have. None of us are perfect, and we need to try and attain that level of, not perfection. We'll never be perfect. You and I'll never be perfect, and anyone who says they are is talking out of their bottom. So if we're I can't say we, I can only say I. If I'm trying to reconnect with my father, my true father, and the only way to do that is to live the way that his son told us, be a good person, don't be a dick, do good, give. If you want to live. That's all that goes around in my head now on a loop. Give. If you want to live. Give it away. Doesn't matter what it is. Give it.
You should write a song, you know, with that as
give. If you want to live
as the chorus.
Hey, well, I was walking down the street.
You're a fabulous writer, Ange. You really should. I'm gonna.
I'll come up with some.
This is recorded, and I'm gonna. That's not going anywhere. I like that. I do like that.
I'll do something later. I'll put something, and we'll call it give. If you want to live, because that's all it. He. In all seriousness, we have the rules as of any father to a child. You know, wait till your dad gets home, and that's kind of how I feel that we're in that time now where it's like, oh, daddy's home soon. Oh, do you know when you're a kid and you're like, oh God, dad's going to be back in a minute. Oh God, I know I shouldn't have painted on the walls. I shouldn't have done that thing. And that's a good fear of. And this has just come to me. In the Bible, it says you should fear the Lord, fear him. And I, again, with words, and I have a very, fear is a very strong word. And everything I've just said about fear, how we shouldn't have fear and we're made in God's image. So I kind of battled with that a little bit, because I was like, I don't want to fear God. I want to love him. And I want him to love me. I just want to love him. I want to be his mate. You know what I mean? I want to meet God. Like, do you know what I mean? I want to be really, really kiddie-like about it, because he's your dad. He's your father. He's everything. He's your creator. So I don't want to fear him. I don't want to fear God. I want to love him. But somebody explained it to me that it's not a fear as in he's gonna kill me. Like, do you know what I mean? If I offend God, he's going to kill me. No, if you do something wrong, God still loves you, and that's what we have to remember. It doesn't matter what we do. Even paedophiles, the sickest of the sick, God still loves them because he wants us all to be saved. But it is that feeling of wait till your dad gets home. That's how I see it now, because it's not. I remember my dad, who's been gone many a year now, and I never feared my dad, but I knew what he was capable of. And that's how I feel about God. I know that God could literally take my head off and make it float to the top of the garden if he so willed. But I don't want him to. Do you know what I mean? I know he could. I know he could cast us all into the pit of fiery eternity and and God knows what's in there. But I don't want him to, so I'm going to behave. I'm going to be a good girl. Yes, God, I'm going to make sure I follow what your son said. I'm going to make sure that if I can be a good person, and I'm going to slip up. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to slip up. Do you know, when you remember when we used to go out on the run every week, and you used to be there with us. And I used to say to my lovelies, I would say, are you on the road, Bab? Because somebody would come up and they wouldn't look necessarily like they were, and I was out there to sort out the homeless. Not realising that there's people indoors who need help as well. This is going back a while now because I've learnt more. But I've stopped asking people that now, because if you come to me for something and I can give it, I'm going to give it you.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's done. There's no question about that. I can't give you my liver. I mean, obviously, if you need that,
also you can spot as well when once you've got sort of people coming in with that, you will soon be able to spot people that are, trying to, like I think when I was out with you a few weeks ago, you were like, no, if you notice, they'll take all the biscuits, all the crisps, they'll take everything, they've got a carrier bag ready just to pile it all in. So know, but I think it's a much better a way to allow people to come, because you're right, we don't know their story. We don't know what's just happened. They might have a house, they might have just been kicked out. They've come to queue up, obviously, because they're hungry, and you have food.
And there's food. So 1 and 1 is not 22.
Yeah.
2. Just put them together. If you want a cup of tea, and I've got a kettle and the tea bags, and I'm not going to say like, well, are you really thirsty? How thirsty are you? Should I only do you half a cup? No, just give the girl a drink, man. Do you know what I mean? And this is what Jesus taught, and I've been thinking about this more and more, because as the time goes on, and not to get too dark, let's try and keep this uplifted and light, shall we? But not to get too dark. At some point, if you don't want the little prick in your arm, or you gotta wear your muzzle, or we're going to shoot you, or we're going to do worse, or we're going to take your kids, or we're going to take your house and make you destitute. Well, Jesus said when he sent his disciples out, and I'm paraphrasing here because I haven't got the exact words in my head, but go, leave this place, share the word, take nothing with you. Your Father will provide for you. God will provide. So you want to kick me out my house? Great. And I'm on the street? Great. Because I'll get to my knees and be like, God, I'm here now. Please help me. It says in the Bible, God will protect the sparrow. God, something about sparrows, and how God, he provides for the sparrows and the lilies in the field, and they don't gather and they don't have harvests of crops, but he provides for them, and we are more than they. So what more will he do for us if we ask him? We only have to ask. This is the thing that makes me laugh in this great story that we're talking about, the Bible, a bit of a good story. Do you know all we have to do is ask and believe? That's all we have to do, Don. That's all we have to do is just ask. And I'm not saying like, God, I fancy egg and chips for dinner. Any chance? I'm not on about that kind of, I mean, the true faith, the true belief in God, get me through this time. Do what is right. Do what you think is right for me. And he does it, because look at where we are. We're still alive, and he's helped us through all of our trials. He's helped you through all of your trials. He's helped me through all of my trials. And we're still here. We didn't do that on our own. We really didn't do that on our own. He was there. He held us, footprints. The poet, the piece, the written piece, footprints, and it says when there's only one, when the man's walking along and he sees 2 sets of footprints, and then all of a sudden he sees one, and then he sees 2 again, and then he sees one. And he says, Jesus, Lord, in the most troubling times, there's only 1 set of footprints. And Jesus says, that's when I carried you. I just got chills then when I thought, because God doesn't lose us, man. We lost him. He didn't leave us. He didn't leave us.
I think actually in some ways he was taken away from us. I just want to touch on something that I was thinking about after speaking to you earlier today. And I think we were talking about lying, when you're in your heart, and then you've just lied. So rather than saying the truth because you can't make it, you come up with some whatever. And
extravagant plan.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this. I was thinking, I remember when I was really young, and I remember I'd done something, and it was so minor. It was like I hadn't changed my vest. When you're younger, you wear vests.
Yeah. God, I miss those days.
And I remember telling a lie and telling my mum that I had, and I hadn't. And I also remember, Ange, feeling really bad about the lie. But the point I'm trying to get to is, I believe when we are born, we are pure consciousness. We are good. We are pure love. Love, 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 love. And it doesn't, some people would sort of think, oh, well, my mum and dad didn't love each other, so I'm obviously, that does not make any difference. Just the fact that you made it and you came through and you are here, you are. And what taints that? Because I remember that I felt so bad. I was probably about 3 or 4 years old. And I still can remember that feeling of, I've done something wrong. As in, what the point I'm getting at is, I think we're all born good, pure good. But there's a darkness that we now know about, and is shining its darkness even more for people to see, that I think has been conditioning us to, I mean, yeah, I was gonna touch on something then that I don't know if it's the right time, but something that they're now, paedophilia is now being normalized. Apparently you're born that way. You're born that way. And I just think that's, again, the darkness coming in just to sort of normalize this.
Normalize it, yeah.
Because I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe a word of it. I believe as souls coming out, we are pure consciousness, and that is good. It's good. We feel bad if we lie, because innate within us, we're good, pure. Our heart is pumping. It's full of love. It's what's out there around us that taints, and a lot of that, as we now know, is conditioned with darkness. I was going to say pure darkness, but I don't think pure should go with darkness. I don't think that word matches darkness.
Yeah, it needs another word.
Yeah, it's not pure darkness, is it?
They say pure evil, don't they? And
pure to me is a good word. I love that word. And
yeah, so when I'm thinking pure, like clear, light, bright, when I don't see that with the evil, straight away you think dark. But touching on what you just said then about being born good, I wholeheartedly believe that you're right there, because when Jesus speaks about the innocence of children and to be like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven, so yeah, spot on. I'm not that, I'm not awarding points obviously, but I'm just saying, it's like, you're right. I'd have to 100% agree with you. But he also says that we were born into a world. I don't know if it was Jesus who said it actually, but I know it's in the Bible somewhere, that the world that we're born into is in total iniquity with God. It's polar opposites. We're born into this, I call it this plane, what we're in now, like Matrix world, if you want to put it into modern terms, the Matrix that we've been born into. And that film, as people say, it's not a film, it's a documentary. And as time's going on, that seems more real, because yes, the pure act of coming out as a new soul and being or an old soul and reliving. I don't know if anyone still really believes in reincarnation and all that stuff, because I don't know enough about that to comment on it. But as you come into the world, you are pure, and it's the world that changes you, because this place, it's not a good place. And I always say the world is a mess, but there's still a lot of good in this world. There's still a lot of love in this world. But if you notice, the love is coming from people who know that the story is true. Do you know? But when something is so obvious, it's so obvious that it's right in front of your face, but you can't see it. It's, that saying, hidden in plain sight. God gave us something and didn't hide it from us, because that would have been the other side. The other side hides things from us. God literally gave us everything that we need to live a beautiful life. He gave it to us. He didn't go like treasure hunt. Well, if you do this and then you do that and then you jump over that and you do a cartwheel and then you run down the road and then you'll find it. He just went, there you go. And it's very simple. It's it's amazing how simple it is. If you lose your way, look to the Lord. If you're confused about something, look to the Lord. If you're worried about something, look to the Lord. It's kind of a theme there, isn't there? If anything's going wrong in your life, look to the Lord. By extension of that, when things are going well, thank the Lord. In all things, thank the Lord. It's kind of simple. I just want to.
I think it is. What you were saying earlier, that the thing that came to mind is like, yeah, we've just overcomplicated it all. Really, it's actually really just as we were talking about pure, and it's pure. It's simple. It's simple. It's pure and simple. Actually, it's just, and again, I'll put it to the darkness. It's just overcomplicated everything, really. And it doesn't have to be like that, but it is overcomplicated, because if you're born into a family that's like been destroyed and you're going into a care home, or you've got to go down and it's just, and I think actually the darkness now, the more I'm seeing it and it's true, yeah, the truth of the darkness, I'm thinking this is it's been plagued by it, really, and that has overcomplicated everything for these souls, really, that have come through pure, have just almost stood no chance. And that's why I do feel really quite excited, positive now more than ever, really. Knowing the darkness exists has shown and proven that the light and God does too. And knowing and experiencing being locked down literally is showing me even more, because I know that it's not going to last forever. I know it's not going to last forever. And with this new belief, and it is quite new, and to have you as well to almost be there as a guide, which is beautiful. You know, no, seriously, you are, because last night I was listening to Genesis. And I was talking to Eric this morning about my feelings about this red sky at night that's all over the UK at the moment. And like, I feel, and it's not I think, I feel this is God's work. This is God's sign. That's how powerful God is. And the red sky at night, that, have you seen it? It's I mean, London at the moment is just, it's, and I also know there's a lot of dark stuff that's going on in London, more, you know, massively. And but up above, I mean, it's a sight to be seen. And I'll send you, I might even clip it in with this video podcast and clip it in, because you wouldn't, it's absolutely spectacular. God would have something to do with that, I think, because it's beautiful.
Right, Bob. If you feel, I know this is, I'm thinking on the fly here, so just run with me a minute. When we feel, I mean, we have got instinct for a reason. So if we feel, when we feel that something is bad and we recoil from it, I've told you this before, when there's certain people I'm around, I'm like, and my body physically moves. The opposite of that, if we feel, like you just said, you feel that something is good in this, good only comes from God. It doesn't come from anywhere else. If it's love, real love, it comes from God. If it's truth, real truth, it only comes from God. The opposite of that is the other way, isn't it? If it's bad, evil, nasty, cruel, heartless, bitter, twisted, all the negatives again, it only comes from the other side. None of that comes from God. Even if you look at the Old Testament, where God was a bit more wrathful and I will take your head off and I will set fire to your village and all that, but he still did it with love. It was still in love. there has to be a punishment for the crime. There has to be. That, you know, God can't let us all off with, you know, no, you've been a bit naughty, go on then. It's not like the law courts, where you do, you know, rape 18 children and, oh, there's a £200 fine. Do you know what I mean? That's not God. God's like, the punishment must fit the crime. So if you're feeling that this is a good thing, that I don't see that as anything bad. I think that can only come from God. That can, because only God, only good comes from him. It doesn't come from anywhere else. It can be, the other side can try and taint it. Do you know what I mean? You said an interesting thing earlier about the fires. But whatever the reason, whatever, I thought about it after we got off the call as well. Now, whatever the reason for the fires, doesn't matter. The fact that God uses fire a lot, a lot. How do we know? How do we know that it isn't? I can't definitively say that it is, and I can't definitively say that it isn't.
Well, I'll just put a bit of context to that as well, because what was coming to me with it was in the same sort of time that I was looking at this red sky at night and thinking about that. So these fires, there's in California, huge last year, wasn't it? Or I don't even know. I don't know when stuff's gone on these days. But then also, obviously, Australia was huge. That was about a year ago. Mass fires. So what I'm finding out now, and whether it's going to come out in the open, true or not, or whatever, at the moment, it really is like the Matrix. Who knows? But I do believe that there's been a lot of dark, evil stuff going on underground all over the world, especially Australia and certainly California, around the Hollywood area. And if it's true that this evil has been brought to the surface, so to speak, although we don't know about it yet, the God that I am starting to feel into the power of God would, yes, set those areas on fire. Because that's, yeah, with just, I don't know, I just like the red sky at night. It's like, that's the power of God. Once that evil has come out, and let's say beings have been rescued, I don't want to put, who knows, I'm not saying I know what's happened, but let's say that has, the God that I'm starting to know about would set that whole thing on fire.
It's cleansing, fire cleansing.
Yeah. And I did that makes even more, that even makes even more sense. I wasn't even thinking like that. I didn't even know. I don't know. I'm still only on Genesis.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, I keep going back to this: trust in the Lord your God with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. It's like we've spoken about with, like I say, the Q stuff, and I'm not going to name names, but the people who are coming out and saying, "Oh, this is going to happen," and there's other people who are saying, "Oh, that's something else." And I'm not going to go. I don't even want to give it credence by speaking about it, really. But the reason I bring it up is because we've spent quite a lot of time over the past months. You know, I mean, we could talk about Trump, we could talk about the election, we could talk about anything. Not gonna, but the main thing that, like I said, that God's shown me with all of that is that I have to remember two things: God controls all, and I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know how it's all going to work out in the end. That's not my bit. I'm nosy and I want to know, but the fact is, I don't need to know, and God controls all. So those are the two things, right? So when I've realised that, what's happened, what that's done, it's very freeing, because I've always said I'm a real control freak. I am a proper control freak. I like to drive the car. I don't like flying, but if they let me fly the plane, I would go anywhere, but they won't let me fly the plane. So I have to put my control in the hands of somebody else. Who better to put my control in? Who better than the Lord, the man who created me, who give my power back to him? It's my free will to get up every morning and say, God, use me use my free will that you've given me to do your will. So we don't have to know why these things happen. We don't have to know what's going to happen to the paedophiles at the end of the day, because justice in this realm is not justice. You may think you killed somebody, like the Jimmy Saviles of the world and the whoever's of the world. And like I said, I'm not really going to name names, but that kind of fell out of my mouth. But all those people who think they got away with it and they died, or they've been terminated or whatever, they think they've got away with it, or they've been through the justice, I use the term loosely, justice system. All the people who've been oppressed, all the people who've been maligned, all the people who've been lied about, and the people who've done all that stuff are sitting there going, ha, 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 we think we've got it, ha, ha, we've got one over on you. God's kind of sitting back and going, okay, all right. I don't really do time, but yeah, you carry it. I just picture God laughing a lot at us, not in a nasty way, but in a kind of, oh dear, kind of way.
And
Just kind of like, oh, because it's done.
Yeah.
You know more than anyone. You know.
I think and it's a beautiful thing to tap into, because I mean, especially now, I mean, well, for not just now, but there is so much anxiety, there's so much fear, and you know, the fear is what the darkness is all about. And actually having this new belief, this belief in God, and this knowing, like an inner knowing. And I've been very close to God insofar as the angels and astrology, but I've almost been, without realizing it, subconsciously pushing God away and holding on to these other things that I thought was more realistic. And
meaning, hang on, expand on that, because I may do a cartwheel if you say what I think you're going to say.
I don't know.
Well, no, when you've just said that, say that again. You just said
angels and astrology.
If my stomach wasn't bad, if I wasn't in my girly days, I would literally do a cartwheel now. Because honest to God, let go of that, mate. Let go of that. That's from him.
But it's yeah, but this is where I'm going to. So, but now I'm realizing that actually this
right, thank you, Jesus. Sorry, thank you. You don't know how that feels, mate, because I know you. Listen, I know your pure heart. I know it. I feel it. I've always said this to you. I know you're a good soul. But you see, the one thing where we've always, I'll go back to the bus. Remember the bus? And I got the phone call. And it was like, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. I was like, we who? Who's we? What are you bringing me into this for, right? Where are we going here? And then it was like, next week, I'm going to do this. I'm like, no, Bob, no, please, God, not another one. Because I know you. I know, and I not think, I feel, and I know 100% that you're here in this realm to care for people, to love, to share what God has put in you with others. I know, I close my eyes and say that 100%, because I know this, because I know your good soul, your good spirit. There is nothing from that side in you. I don't know, I keep pointing over here like there's someone here, you know, but what I'm saying is there is nothing in there. So I know when you're connecting to your angels and your astrology and your chart, that's great in one sense, but it's not. It's what you need, gal. It's what you need. Don't look in the newspaper and look at the stuff. Why do you think? Remember all that time when I used to go through the stars, and every night I'd be ringing up and go, Don, it said I'm going to do it. Okay, it did happen, and we were really freaked out by it by the time, but it wasn't about, if I'd have been like, why am I looking, that's of this earth, just the very fact that I'm looking through an app on my phone to find out how my life's going to be. There should have been clues. There should have been because none of it was good. None of it was good. There was nothing good. You know, all the crap that I was going through at that time. None of it was good. All I needed to do was like push that away and get to where I need to get to in here.
So in other words, then it's almost like and it's genius, actually, isn't it? Like distraction, genius distraction.
all day. Do you know what it is? It's and I can't stress this enough. Anything that takes you away from this. I'm not saying the book and the Bible. I'm saying God's word, God's actual words, Jesus's words, the things he said. Anything that takes you from what he said, what he did, how he taught us, anything. I feel bad if I'm on YouTube watching a video that's not about Christian, that's not about my Lord. If I'm listening to music that, I told you this before, when I look, you know, I've always loved Kylie for years, and even saying that feels wrong now. Do you know what I mean? Where I have to change the lyrics of a song to listen to. If I like the beat of a particular song, I have to change the lyrics to it, and I always make it about Jesus. So Kylie's last song, which was "Do You Believe in Magic?" I'm now "Do You Believe in Jesus?" It might seem bizarre and like I've gone off the reservation, but it's anything that takes you away from the Lord. So you've just said it perfectly, a distraction. If we're looking to the stars to guide our paths, our movements, Age of Aquarius, all this malarkey, and it is malarkey and trickery. It's witchcraft and trickery, Don. And it's taking us away from him. If you want the answers, if you want the guide, if you want to feel connected to the real world, not this shit, sorry God, not this, I can't even say it another way, not this crap that we're living in now. If you want the real world, it's him. It's only him. It's only him. I can't even just thinking about anything other than that. And it's not the fear of, oh, what's he going to do to me if I don't believe in him? It's the fact that I want to believe in him. And I, like I said to you when I was in the kitchen earlier, I want us all on this bus. I want everyone to have their little ticket. Yes, Jesus, I've got my ticket. I'm coming with you. I've paid. I'm ready. I want to be with you. And I want you, your mum, your dad, the kids, my friends. I want us all on the bus. I want us all on this damn bus. Not damn, say words. I want us all on this bus. I want us all to be with him. But the only way we can get there is to follow through our Lord. And I'm even going to find the piece now. Even going to find the piece where it says, I am the way. This is John 14. Right? Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Right? And Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. It doesn't say, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through the Daily Mail horoscope. It doesn't say that. It's him. And this is where, when you just said that,
I mean, I will say, I think also what I wrote down when we were talking about it, I wrote down astrology, but I also wrote down, I think, perspective, because whilst I've said that, I think once you have found God and you are aware, or when I say found, it's obvious to me now that it's real. It's not a fantasy. It's not just a story. And this is just the beginning of a beautiful long journey. I'm so excited about it. Do you know, it's like, I can't believe it's taken till I'm 48 years old. It's like, but I'm not going to stop doing my angel cards now. I'm not going to suddenly stop doing them. No, because they have it's again, it's perspective and astrology. I think it's all, I don't think that's the dark side. I don't think the angels that I've got, my angels, have really helped me along the way. They have helped me. And I do think if you can look at things as steps, there are steps to where we get to. Yeah, there's there's good and there's bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely see the darkness, but I don't see that darkness in the angel cards that I have.
But
Or
why
the
worship the creation when you can worship the creator?
yeah,
God
so
may have God did put the stars, and he can name them all.
yeah,
God made all of that, but why worship that when
yeah,
you have the creator?
that's what I mean about that. My perspective has changed. So now you're right. It's like I understand the bigger picture, which is God. I understand that. And actually, and Sharon said it to me as well. She said she used to really follow astrology, but then when she realized that actually it's God is everything, then it kind of, that the astrology starts to fade away. So all I'm saying is I can believe that probably what will happen will be the angels and astrology will start to sort of fade away in the background. But I'm not going to, I'm just going to follow my heart. And as it stands at the moment, I still have my angel cards up there. And I love my lovely Pam Gregory, who does read the stars every month and explains to me where the planets are and everything else like that. And I have an interest in that, but I have more of a godly interest in that now than I did before, because now I'm aware that just that's added to the perfection in everything. Look at the cycle as how everything moves so perfectly. I now bring God into that whole thing. It's like, it's just magnificent, absolutely magnificent. You know, look at the perfection in the, you know, look at a flower, look at the perfection in it. I mean, I've even started dusting my plants. You know, I'd never really dusted my plants before because I'd never really appreciated the beauty of the green leaves. You know what, Ange? Since I dusted the plant, my plant is like a new plant. I mean, it's flowered. It's been in the bathroom for years. I don't remember seeing those flowers. I gave it a dust. I gave it some love. I recognized it through this whole new experience. And it really is.
Beautiful. And isn't that beautiful, the fact that
really, yeah,
you know that you've given that love? And it does, and I've heard that for years, people who talk to the plants and stuff. I don't have a green thumb at all. I kill everything that comes in here that's even slightly natural. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but I've heard this, you know, talk to your plants and give them, because it's energy, it's love that, you know, from him. But I totally get what you're saying, that you appreciate the things now, like the plant and that, but the thing that made the plant is the thing that we need to love. We can love and appreciate a thing. And like I said, when I talk, I do kind of sound like I'm the authority and I know it all, and it's not like that. Please don't. You know me better than that. But it doesn't sit right with me to agree with that to a point, because not just because it's you, because you meet, and most time 99.9% of the time you and I agree on pretty much everything. But like, it goes back, and it was actually Sharon who said that to me. It was about the creation and the creator. Why love the creation when you can love the creator? It doesn't take away from the creation in that sense, but we have the source of all life over us, not just over us, in us. His Holy Spirit is within us.
Yeah, but what about, obviously I get that, but then when you're talking about, as soon as you say that, I'm thinking, no, because we're all the creation. So, you know, your road lovelies, the children that I work with, this is the creations, the plant, everything, that's the creation. That's, so surely You should.
I'm not saying don't love them. I'm not saying don't love them, but I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, I can't remember if it was the reverend at my school or somebody in a position of authority who said, it might have been in a divinity class. My memory's hazy from back then anyway, but it was a conversation that we were having, and it was that you should put God above everything else. You should love God more than your mum and dad. Now that didn't sit right with me, because I was like, yeah, but my mum and dad, it's my mum, my dad, and then God, right? End of. You know what I mean? So I remember, I don't remember the full conversation, but that was the gist of it. That, hang on a sec, sorry. That was the gist of it, that that God was supposed to be above your mum and dad. And it's only recently, I mean, that was going back to, I was in single digits age-wise. It's only recently, I'd say in the last year, that I'm like, I love my mum and dad, but I love God more. I love you, but I love God more. I love my road lovelies, but do you know what I mean? I love my man, but God has to come first.
Where do you come into that?
What do you mean?
You, where do you, so loving yourself?
Love of myself. Well, as you know, Miss Donna, I didn't ever love myself because I didn't think I was worthy of love. But
which is another very dark thing, isn't it? Conditioning.
Because that's tied down with all of his side, isn't it? It's like, you know, the guilt, the shame, the fear, you're a dickhead, you're fat, you're thin, you're all these horrible things about yourself. And we look at how the world views us. And not just how the world views us, but how we view ourselves, because of some of the sketchy things I've done in my past. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a child abuser, I'm not a murderer, I'm not a thief, you know, I'm not lots of nasty things, but I have been a bit of a twat in my years.
It makes us who we are, darling.
Yeah,
makes us who we are.
Of course it does. And you know, I'd say 95% of the stuff I did to myself, not to anyone else anyway, and was against God. Most of the sins that I've committed are against him, because I haven't been all that he's created me to be. But for years, you know the story with my old man, you know, the day my dad died, I'd woken up that morning when he came to wake me up and told him to, oh, fuck off, Dad, you know, I don't want to get up yet. And those are the last words, pretty much paraphrase what I said to my dad. So then I had that guilt for years. And so I didn't deserve love. I didn't deserve to be loved because I was a bad person. I did a bad thing. Forget the, 20 odd years before that, where I adored my dad and thought my dad was my God. And I've said that many times, that my dad was my God. And he was my God. And, we were like Botty and Bench. And even though I wasn't looking back with hindsight now, it's turned into a therapy session. But it all goes into that whole how we think of ourselves, how we treat others. Forget the fact that I loved and adored my dad and worshipped my dad from birth. And it was just that one day, that one thing, I even look back and go, why couldn't you die the bloody day afterwards? Do you know what I mean? When I could have got up that morning and gone, hi, Dad, I love you. And he could have gone out and known. But my dad knew that I loved him because I'd spent 20 odd years telling him that I loved him. But it was just that one moment in time. But I think I had to go through that to realise what love is. Because I thought I knew what love was before then. Before then, I thought love was money, because my parents didn't give me the time when I was a kid. They gave me money because they were hardworking and they were making up the guilt that they felt for not having their child with them, their only child. Give her some money. She can buy herself lots of pretty things and we love her, and that's what they didn't mean any harm by it, but it's not love. But I grew up thinking that was love. And then as I got older, I thought love was never thinking about my own love towards self, because I just thought, I never really thought about it. You don't have to love yourself. People love you. But then being in bad relationships and thinking, okay, that black eye was love because you apologized the next morning, or the fact that you threatened to rape me was, yeah, that's love because you didn't do it, or the fact that I allowed you to speak to me in that tone, well, that's love because you didn't really mean it. That's love. And it took all of those experiences for me to know what love actually is. Love is kindness, compassion, humility, beauty, seeing the beauty in the world, like you with your flower. That's love. Going out when I feel like utter crap and still wanting to hug and breaking the law, probably, or breaking the rules, hug my lovelies because they want to hug me. They don't want to hug me, they want the hug.
Do you connect yourself to that love now? I mean,
yes.
You do. Good.
Yes,
good.
I do.
Good.
I feel I don't love myself as in, oh, you're so nice. I love myself as in, I'm not a bad person. I try and do good. Don't always get there, but I try. God loves a trier. I won't hurt anyone. I won't ever do anyone a bad if I can do, even if I can't do them a good. Even my mum said something that's interesting. You know, since you've become a Christian, you're a lot nicer. And I was like, oh, thanks. So I was a complete dickhead before that. That's fair. Thanks. I mean, your mum tells you stuff like that. You got to listen, don't you? But she said that. She said, no, you're nicer. The way you talk to Dawn and the way my mum and I don't really clash as much now. And I think a lot of it is because, one, I think my patience has increased a little. Not saying I'm walking around going, oh, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek. No, it's not like quite like that. But I just don't let the things bother me now. What's the point? I don't know how many years I've got left, if I've got years at all. I don't know how long. So why be bothered with the minutiae in life?
Yeah.
When the bigger things are so much bigger. Do you know what I mean? The big picture is so much bigger. And again, God's in control. I don't need to know everything. So personal responsibility. Let's just, what can I do to try and make this experience for my soul a bit better? Do you know what I mean? And how can I connect with you and do something good for you that will make your experience better? And how can I go to somebody who's going to make my experience better? Do you know what I mean? The little, don't sweat the small stuff, man. None of it matters. And that's where the self-love comes in, because before I'd be thinking, oh God, was the dinner that I cooked okay for my lovelies? Mate, they're happy. I've never had a bad compliment yet. I don't mean that in that sense, but I mean, I know that we're sustaining them through love. It's the love that they love, not the food.
So don't you think as well, though, what just came to me when you were saying that, and the difference between, say, before and now, and that sort of an analogy about the food and everything you've just said, is that because you now know you are not alone, you know that you are a part of something. So do you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of this anxiety and a lot of this stress and like fear is because I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain it, but in this new awakening that I am feeling is like, well, actually, it doesn't matter. Everything's going to be all right. Everything is all right. And we're taken care of. We're not on our own. And it's not like, yeah, before a lot of people are like, oh, Trump, is he going to save us? And is it actually...
I feel bad that I ever had that thought. I feel bad that I was like, the Americans are going to be so fucked without Trump.
Well, a lot of people are like really? putting their heart and soul on dates. It's like, oh, and so when it doesn't happen, you're like, oh God, oh.
Even, do you know the madness is, and this is what should wake people up further. Even Donald Trump went, it's not me, you know, it's him. And so people are like, what do you mean? It's not you. We put all our stock in you. We thought we, but do you know what it has done? And this is where I give it, I say this, and again, with God, God uses who he wants to get the work done, right? So you and I, being judgmental little divs, may go, don't like her, don't like her hair, don't like her shoes, don't like the way she carries herself. And God's like, that's the one I'm using, you know, that's the one. Because God sees the heart of a person. He doesn't see the hairy legs. I'll say that because I haven't shaved my legs for about 6 months. He doesn't see he doesn't see the fact that you've been shooting up heroin all night. He doesn't see the anything. He doesn't see that you just had sex with 10,000 men for money. He doesn't see any of that. He sees that person has got a beautiful heart. That person's got a beautiful smile. I'm going to use them. But it's those judgmental idiot humans who go, what are you using Trump for? I think and this is just my personal belief that, and I said this to you a while ago after I got off the Trump train. I'm not dislike of Trump. I think he was treated disgustingly, and I don't want to go down that road, but I believe, and I said this, if Trump's involved here, then fuck him as well. And excuse my language, but there is no other way of putting that. But if he isn't, what that whole, not him, but what that whole 4 years did was make people go, so CNN tells lies? Oh, hang on, not just CNN. Oh, so if they lied about that, then I wonder if they lied about this. So then people went, let me just move that a little bit, and then a bit more, and a bit more. Let me just move this one. I see the game. And the thing about humans is humans talk, humans communicate. So I see something that I thought was the truth, and then I see the truth and go, Donna, come and have a look at this. Just come and have a look at this. And you go, what are you on about, Ange? What are you on about? Wow, Eric, come and have a look at this. And
yeah, but this is so true. But then look at what we haven't been able to do. Whilst this awakening has really been full on heart, we have not been able to get together.
There's the key. But somebody said, I have to start writing things down. Somebody said the other day on this thing that I was watching, God loves technology. And I was like, fucking hell, this EJ on about God loves technology. All technology is against God. And I thought, because what have we got at this wonderful time when I won't say jailers, because that's a bit hard, but ruling powers who, you've got to stay in, you've got to wear your muzzle, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do the other, all the things that are keeping us like this, and we're trying to like get together, and they're like, no,
They really are.
But we got Zoom, and we got phones, and when we're not being censored, we've got Facebook, and when we've got that, we've got this, so we can go on there and say, Don, have a look at this. Have a look at this. And it's not just you and I having a chat, it's reaching millions of people. So yes, I do believe perhaps God does like technology.
Well, I think of the parties that I do. I mean, entertaining children still. I can really, and I put, because I am not having to drive and use my energy with all the equipment, they've got more energy from me, more memories, more good vibrations just coming through from me. And Zoom and technology is enabling me to spread that love. The darkness wouldn't want that. They wouldn't want me and you talking now. This microphone I've got here, I've taken to snuck to places when I shouldn't have gone there. This microphone's been on the table and recorded the conversations. I can't wait to have a listen back to them in a year or so's time to hear what we were taught, you know, because they didn't want that. They did not want us together sharing our thoughts and ideas and potential realizations.
Our choice is given to us by God. Relate that to what we're going through now. We don't have a choice with the or they tell us we don't have a choice with the lockdowns. They tell us we don't have a choice with the masks. They tell us we don't have a choice with social distancing. The fact is, we do have a choice. This realm plane, all the rules are being made for us in this life, is where the control comes in. Now, if we remember, God has control of everything, that's the one. They're trying, his side here, old moody ass, his side is trying to gain the control through man controlling man. But that doesn't work, because we as spiritual beings have free will given to us, granted to us, blessed to us by God. So therein lies the conflict again, which is why you just said about people walking around with the car crash going in, the anxieties going in, the stress going in, the bills going in, the everything going in, and That's the system. Again, it goes back to the system, which is designed to keep everybody in that depressed state. And that's without us talking about, you know, the chemicals they're putting in our food, water, air, just that's another whole chapter. But the mental keeping us down is what's being done to us by his side who are doing that. But what people have forgotten is he has given us free will. We have a choice.